Hey everybody, it's David Baer with winebear.net, and I have 5 tips for you today on selecting a great bottle of wine. The first tip is, remember that old adage, red wine with meat and white wine with fish? Well, you can just throw that out the window because it really isn't accurate, and it's something that I think a lot of people spend too much time and pay too much attention to when you really shouldn't. So here's my recommendation. A couple of things that you want to either think about in terms of pairing. You want to think about weight. How big and bold is the wine you're drinking with the food you're eating? Or is there going to be a really good foil, meaning some opposites that might attract? So what do I mean in terms of weight? Well, how about a nice little delicate wine with a nice little delicate dish like a salad, and a big, burly, bold wine with a big, burly, bold piece of meat or something on your plate? You really want to think about weight in that instance. Now, a foil would be great if you're thinking about spicy food. Well, then you want wine with a little bit of sweetness to it, which will offset or counterbalance that spice. Or let's say you have a really rich, buttery sauce or a creamy sauce. Well, having a white wine with a good high acid level will cut through that sauce. So that's a couple of examples of a great foil. All right, tip number 2. If you have a special occasion, do a little bit of research beforehand. Let's say you're going to go out and buy a wine from a specific vintage. Maybe it's somebody's birthday or an anniversary. Well, do a little bit of research online to find a good example of something that's going to be tasting good, going to be appropriate from that vintage. You know, I had a 40th birthday not too long ago, and I had a bunch of 40-year-old wines. Some of them were stellar. Some of them really should not have been aged for 40 years. So if you do a little bit of research and you know in advance this is going to be something that's worth investing in for a special occasion, you know, it's probably worth your time. Tip number 3. Keep track of the things that you like and, more importantly, the things that you don't like. If you go out to a restaurant and you really love something, jot down what it is. And if you don't know what's important to write down, well, if there's a wine professional there at the restaurant, ask them what the important things were on that label that you should write down so that you can remember the next time you either are shopping for wine in a wine shop or looking for that wine again on a list or looking for a recommendation of something similar. Same thing, if you don't like something, make note of it so that you can speak with great authority about your taste preferences when you are getting a wine professional to help you through the process. And that brings us to the next tip. Tip number 4, always ask for help if you need it. There are many, many wine professionals out there at restaurants and wine shops whose job it is to help you weed your way through their broad selection of wines. Take full advantage of them. They're not there to intimidate you. They're not there to look down upon you. They're there to help you. So take advantage of it. And finally, tip number 5, if you are struggling, walking through the aisles of a wine shop or a grocery store and you see lots of little reviews and scores on little cards attached to all the wines, use them to your advantage. Now, here's what I mean by that. The score is not going to tell you everything, and typically the scores are on a 100-point scale, and you might see numbers starting in the high 80s and going up. Just because it says 92 points doesn't mean that it is better than the 88-point wine down the aisle, because those two wines could be completely different in terms of their flavor profile, and you may not like the idea of the flavors inside that 92-point bottle of wine. So don't just use the scores, also read the notes and see if the description resonates with you and sounds like it's something you're actually going to want to drink. All right, those are my 5 tips for selecting a great bottle of wine today. I hope you found this useful. If you did, I'd love a comment, a like, a share, and if there's anybody out there you think could benefit from this, please do tell them about this video and about WineBear. You can find me at WineBear, that's WineBaer.net. I look forward to seeing you there soon, and soon again in the next video. You have a great day.